I'm Leon Taylor, and I'm with McNairy now Info, and today we are meeting the candidates that's running for the assessor properties here in McNairy County, which voting begins on the 15th, which is tomorrow. And now, my guest here today, right now, is candidate Mr. Darren Bowers. And I'm glad to have you today. Appreciate you taking the time out your business schedule to come by, and I just wanted to allow the citizens of McNairy know that I get a chance to meet the candidates, and it's for us to kind of meet, get a little bit know about them, tell a little bit about yourself, who you are. First of all, I would like to know, as I'm asking each candidate, what is your political affiliation on this Bowers?
Okay. Well, I've been out of politics for several years. As a teenager, I was a member of the Young Democrats. Through my college years, I kind of got away from it because I could see good and bad on both sides. I am running this time around under the Democrat Party, which is primarily where I have stuck through the years. But again, I've seen good and bad on both sides. Personally, I feel like that in the local elections, whether it be county or city, that there shouldn't be any party affiliations. But I understand that there are some people that are really hardcore to that, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. I've got friends on both sides of the line.
Well, but tell us who Darren Bowers is.
Okay. I'm 47 years old.
Okay.
I grew up in McNairy County, grew up actually in North Selma, a couple of miles from where we sit right now. When I was about 4, my dad started farming with my mother's father. Farming was doing real well. He had been a maintenance supervisor for Kilgore, and they'd had several accidents over there, and he just was tired of that environment. So I grew up on the farm. That's where, you know, I learned all kinds of things there, of course, which we did our own maintenance and that kind of thing. So long hours, hard days, that was the norm. As I got older, we stepped away from farming. I actually took a public job and worked that for the last 6 or 7 years that we farmed. And we were, as I told you before, we were one of the first farmers in the county that broke that 1,000-acre mark. You know, we were, which nowadays that's a small farm. Back then that was a really large farm. But we had to get away from it, but just because the investment it was too risky.
So great, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know farmers now that put $1 million in a crop and put it in the ground, and of course in those days we didn't have crop insurance like they do now. So it was a different environment. But I worked for Caterpillar for 11 years. While I was there, I actually met my wife now, and she and I have been married almost 17 years. Next month will be 17 years. When we married, she had 2 daughters that were 7 and 9 at the time, and of course we've been family. They're grown now. We have another daughter together who's 15 now. She's a sophomore at McNairy Central High School. My parents, Carolyn and Ted Bowers, Mom's been very involved in the community for several years. She was one of the first ones, the committee that started Relay for Life here. She was part of that committee, and for the last several years she's not been involved, but I picked up and carried on with that. Still on the committee that heads that up. I've been a member of the chamber board. I've been a member of the Carl Perkins. Well, I've not been on the board. I volunteered for Carl Perkins Center. Did the Dancing with the Stars a few years ago. I'm on McNairy County Developmental Services Board. Lions Club secretary, past president of the Rotary Club. So I've been involved in the community.
You've been involved pretty well.
And the reason why is because I love my community.
Okay.
I had an accident March 5th, 2008. I had left Caterpillar. Be honest with you, I never liked punching a clock and being told when to go to the bathroom, and you know, there was no freedom, no flexibility. And one of the guys that I had farmed with was very successful running over the road with one of the old farm trucks. And we were talking, and things looked really good. So I bought a truck, went over the road. 5 years later, had a little accident, fell off a flatbed trailer, shattered 2 vertebrae.
Oh, wow. So
the doctor took me out of business. During that period of time, this community rallied around me.
Great.
You know, we were struggling, trying to figure out how we were going to keep the lights on at one point. When you go to the mailbox and there's a check. you know, it's just amazing God's provision,
Yeah.
but it was always there.
Yeah.
And since then, I have tried to give back to this community any way I could.
Great. Well, why are you running for this particular office, Assessor?
Well, I feel like that's just another way that I can give back to this community. I feel that the office needs to be run in a very professional manner. I am the most mature of the candidates. Of course, I'm probably the oldest too, but you know, like I say, my wife and I have been married 17 years. And I feel like that, to me, people need to be met with respect and courtesy when they come into the office. If they're dealing with a problem and they're upset, they need to be loved on first and foremost, and then we'll figure out what the problem is. For the last almost 8 years, I was first to be 8 years, that I have been in the financial services industry. I've been a rep with Modern Woodman here in Selmer. And, you know, I get to see people at their best, but I also get to see them at their worst when they're dealing with, you know, the death of a loved one and things like that. And I've learned that compassion is one of the first things that you've got to show when you're dealing with the public.
Yeah.
You know, people deserve that. They deserve respect. They deserve compassion. And that's what I want to show them when they come in the door.
Well, I said that in the last, and I seem to be reiterating, but it's just nice to be nice.
Yes, it is.
And I said, I'll repeat it again, an old preacher told years ago, he used to have a saying that it's nice to be important. He said, but it's more important
To be nice.
And
I'll
I
say an
found
amen
that
to
to be
that.
true. I found that to be true in life, though. I really
Yes,
have.
sir.
Well, so you feel you want to give back to the community. Well, now, let me ask you this. What do you think one of the most pressing issues with this office as it relates to McNairy County?
Well, one thing is that there needs to be more cross-training there. I've heard people that have come up and asked questions and they can't get an answer because the person that can answer it is not in the office right now.
Okay.
Everybody needs to know. You know, if they work in that office, they need to know all aspects
Well,
of it.
if I want to know something about my property assessment or why it's assessed, and I go to the office, I would want to know, I would want somebody there to be able to give me an answer. You know?
That's exactly right.
I mean, if I didn't do that, I might wait, you know, like me, and I'm not going down to the police station asking them about my taxes. They don't know. But when I go to that office, I mean, you expect to receive what?
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, another thing, and I don't even remember the question now, but another issue that we've had is it's not been accessible to people when they need it to be. You know, I think it should be open at least 5 days a week. If somebody wants to meet on Saturday, make a call a day or two ahead of time and let's make an appointment and be there on Saturday if we need to be. You know, it's that's something that I've heard reiterated over and over again. You know, your lawyer's offices are open on Wednesday. Your real estate offices are open on Wednesday. And those are the people mainly that are doing business in the assessor's office. A lot of people don't understand, but the reason the courthouse was closed on Wednesday, that was train day back in, what was it, the 30s or 20s or whatever it was. You know, people went to the depot and they unloaded the train and stocked the stores and things like that. So we're kind of out of that day. We need to move
just an old
forward.
traditional thing.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
And even in the business that I'm in now, people think we're closed on Wednesdays, you know.
So if elected or when elected, what would be one of your first priorities for the office?
Well, first priority would be training myself.
Okay.
Because, you know, I understand I have one opponent that has been trained in field appraisal. That's something that I feel like that I would need to be trained in immediately, which the state does offer that training and they require that training.
Okay.
But that would be a first priority. But from there on, you know, making sure that the staff is also cross-trained, as I had spoke of.
Definitely.
Making the environment friendly to everyone that comes in.
Do you feel you have an advantage over the other candidates that's running for this office?
I wouldn't say advantage necessarily. I know a lot of people in the county though, and most of them like me. That would be the only thing that I would say that would be an advantage, and that's just because that you know, as I said before, I love on people. You know, it doesn't matter if I see you at Walmart or if I see you at church. I'm trying to be consistent wherever we are.
Okay.
You know, I try to be friendly, even to
Very-
people that I don't like.
Very important.
You know, and we all have those select few that we don't like. But as a professional, we have to be professional. We have to treat people the same.
You can be courteous.
Absolutely. And again, that's what I feel like that the public deserves as an elected official. Another thing that I will say, we need somebody that's willing to be a certified elected official in that office. We've not had that in quite some time.
And what does that really entail and require?
Well, it's a state certification. It
Okay.
requires additional training.
In other words, like I couldn't come in insurance business. You got to have a license.
You have to have a license.
To say, in the state of Tennessee.
That's right. And you know, the products that I sell, you have to have multiple licenses, and the good old state likes to send me a birthday present every year in June for a professional privilege tax just for carrying that license.
And a nice fee, you got to send them back.
$1.
Well, listen, Ms. Bowers, I certainly know that, and I agree with you. You know, I think, you know, I hear some of the same issues that's coming up, and I wish you much luck with the election that's coming up, and I do believe you bring some professionalism to the office. And,
Thank you.
I said this in the last one to meet the candidate. Y'all put me in more of a bind than I'm putting y'all in, because I'm undecided right now. So and meeting the candidates, I'm gonna have to decide.
I understand. And you know, I talked to someone yesterday, and one of the comments that they made was that in so many races, we don't have anybody good to choose from. And in this race, we have 4 good candidates.
Yeah, you know.
So it does make it difficult.
And you know, and I mean, but I think, you know, the people of McNairy, though, you know, they'll make the right choice. But to meet you, to hear you talk, to see you, you know, I think that'll help some people.
Absolutely.
Know you better, you know.
Right.
That old saying they used to have, to know me is to love me.
And I haven't been able to see as many people face to face as I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I've been very busy with my job, and I've been down with a knee. Dr. Bowers is trying real hard to get me through this, and I'm blessed. I'm up and going. But
yeah. Well, let me ask you this:
difficult.
if elected to the office, what are you gonna still try to keep your office?
We've actually hired someone new.
Okay.
He came full-time July 1. Now, I will still be available evenings and weekends for those people that I already have a relationship with,
Okay.
that I'm already working with. I'm not going to be out trying to write new business, because this is a full-time position.
Yeah, okay.
And the people of the county, if elected, they deserve whoever's in that office to give it full-time attention.
Okay. Well, good deal. I just wanted to know, because you know, so people.
You're not the first one who's asked that question.
And I'm trying to ask questions that people that the ordinary person would like to know, and that I know. You know, I mean, I've seen you several places. You know, different functions that went on, but I didn't. You know, I see the face, and I don't know, but to sit down and actually talk to you, you know.
I actually saw you in the courthouse yesterday.
Yeah, you know, well, you know, I've seen him, you know, but, you know, 'cause a lot of times we just assume
Right.
that everybody know everything, and that's not the case. So that's one reason I said, well, as I learn people and learn McNairy County, I share that, because I do video, I said, and share it, and as I learn, somebody else
Sure.
can learn.
Well, I'll share this with you. The reason I was in the courthouse yesterday was for a Tennessee Achieves meeting, which is the program that's helping high school seniors to get their FAFSA done and get their scholarship information out there and all that kind of thing. We are looking for mentors. The deadline is December 2nd, so we need 33 mentors in McNairy County. Last year we only had, I think it was 22. We were short, so some of the staff for that organization had to step in and help. So if anybody would like to be a mentor, and all that involves is maybe once a month reaching out to 8 to 10 kids. That's all it involves, just once a month, send them a reminder.
What you doing, trying to make me feel guilty?
No, I'm trying to do some recruiting, If we, you know, if this adds 2 more to the list, I'm proud of it.
Yeah, well, you know, but I think that's important, mentoring
And our numbers last year were great. You know, we had a pretty huge jump in the number that filled out their financial aid application on time.
Okay.
So, you know, that's what we're trying for.
Well, I'd like to get a little more information about that.
Absolutely.
That certainly, I've been down here 5.5 years.
Okay.
You know, and I'm the kind of person, I want to make a difference wherever I'm at. You know,
Right.
For the good.
That's what we all should be.
And you know, and I guess I've been sitting kind of in the corner, in a corner here, in the corner, not wanting to. But then when you have abilities to do things, you know, you can't sit on it. It really, you know, and I think a person should do what they can to help the community any way they can, because every little bit helps.
Everything. And things don't happen automatically.
No,
It takes a community
somebody
to
got
work at it. Somebody's got to work at it.
Somebody had to, thank you, Mr. Bowers, for the time.
Thank you.
Come by and
Appreciate
share,
you.
and I wish you much luck, man.
Thank you.
In this race, and you know, and I got to say, I don't want to be hypocritical, but every time, you know, you the second one today, I got 2 more to go, but I wish all of you luck.
Thank you.
You know, and I think we get, so far, I've seen, we got some great candidates to choose from.
Sure. And good luck to you on your website.
Yeah, help tell somebody about
We'll
it. Share it and tell them about it. But you know, I've got several. You know, I got a chance to interview Shave last week. And he's on do Mayor Bethel Springs, Mayor here, and so
Right.
we are just trying to get around it. And listen, I'm not just going to be doing county officials. I like to talk to some everyday McNairy Countyans that to tell their story, to
Right.
share their story.
Right.
Because if you're doing something to enhance this community, your story ought to be told. So I just wanted to get that out there too. But right now I'm trying to build it, and we got a lot going on, so I want to share.
Doing a good thing.
Share. Thank you, and
Thank you.
good luck in the race here.
Thank you, sir.